Hi everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to do the shooting board. I started building this already. It's the same exact build as the bench hook we did yesterday. So as you can see here, I have the cleat already installed on the bottom. I've got the clamps here, and doing a quick check, it is square to the factory edges. Yesterday in the bench hook build, I did use primitive tools, basic hand tools, because I'm doing these jigs for the basic woodworking hand tool video I'm working on. We don't need to go through that again, so I cut these two pieces of MDF with my table saw. I'm going to fire some pins with my nail gun, which I'm ready to do right now. And that should let us take the clamps off and continue building. And I'm really just doing that for the ability to move forward. Here, so that is now a good cleat. The only difference between the bench hook and the shooting board is this next step. You know, the first step is a cleat to a flat piece of wood, or in this case I'm using MDF. A shooting board has a second piece of, in this case, MDF. You could use plywood here. I used 1/2 inch for both. You can use any size you want, and any dimension you want. My bench is only 1 foot, 1 foot thick, so I can't make a really long one, which is why my old shooting board doesn't really work up here very well, because it's literally too long. It gets a little top heavy. So you want to make your shooting board the right length for your bench. So I'm making one 12 inches long and 9 inches wide. That's for my bench. If your bench is bigger, you can go longer. A very good, if you don't have scrap wood laying around, all of the home centers sell a 24 by 24 square of plywood and MDF in both 1/2 inch and 3/4. All of them, I think, are under $10. They should be under $10. It's just a 2x2 sheet. One of those can build this whole thing, because you can, in essence, make it up to 24 inches long by 12 inches wide. Your top is going to be smaller, so say you make a 9-inch top, you still have enough on the end to make your cleat and your fence if you need be. I would not use the MDF for the fence. You could use it for the cleat. That would be fine. I would use a piece of hardwood for the fence, and you can find a piece of hardwood anywhere. I got this little piece right here. I don't know if I'm going to use it yet. We'll do that tomorrow after this top glues down. The reason you have this fence square like this is where your plane runs, and this will be more clear tomorrow when we actually use the tool. So for now, we have the cleat fastened. The next step is to fasten these two, make a sandwich out of the two pieces. Alright, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. It took me a little bit longer than I expected to get the glue and the two MDF pieces squared up. It was sliding quite a bit, and it was kind of a pain in the butt, and there's no real reason to watch me struggle with it. Once I get close to sealing it, we'll go back to normal speed. I don't know if you can hear the hockey game going in the background. My Capitals are getting clobbered by the Anaheim Ducks, which is not good. But we won the cup last year, and I believe those boys are still suffering from a hangover, because they partied like I have never seen anybody party in my life. That's just the commentary I'm giving you while I'm trying to line this up. This is really trying to slip slide away here. that should hold it from sliding. And it's square. So we'll just let that sit overnight. I'll come back tomorrow. We'll put the fence on. I'll show you how to use the thing. Okay, it's the next morning, and the little MDF sandwich we made here is done. So the next step is to put the fence on. Last night before I left the shop, I trimmed this up. What we want to do is put the fence about an inch or two from the end of the shooting board, so that when you take the plane and are shooting your board, it has full support all the way through the cut, which if you put it all the way on the end, you do gain a few more inches of usable space, but as you clear the cut, you're actually giving your plane a chance to wobble. So moving it back here a couple inches is a good idea. And you're not going to you don't want the blade to ever be hitting this fence. Making it flush is okay, but honestly, if it's back a 16th or a 32nd of an inch from the fence here, that's all right, because you're not, when you're using the shooting board, you're actually pushing the wood towards the plane away from the fence. So you don't ever hit the fence. So let's put a little glue down and get this guy set up. Okay, we'll let that dry. I'll come back and show you how to use it. Okay guys, here we go. Let's bring it all together. I have up here the new bench hook that we built and the new shooting board that we built. And one thing I'd like to do to the shooting board before I use it is put a little wax in the runner here. Just allows the plane to slide a little easier. You don't really want it up here because you want to hold this board still. But down here where the plane's going to be sliding, a little bit of paste wax is going to help that thing along. So now, how do these two work in concert? So we have a board here that we want to cut to a certain length. So let's, we don't need to measure anything here. Remember when I did the bench hook, I said that I twisted my wrist a little bit and I got this line a little bit out of whack. And I said it's not really a big deal because the shooting board will fix it. Well, here's why. Let's make the cut. And if we look at the cut, it's actually way off. Oh, okay, it broke off here a little bit. But that's fine, the shooting board will fix that too. And it's a little bit off on that direction as well. What the shooting board does, you hold the piece of wood up to the fence, you take your plane, like I said, I designed this for a block plane. You can use any plane you want, make the shooting board accordingly. I have a very shallow depth of bench here, so I'm going with the block plane design. So you hold it against the fence and then you push towards the plane. And you just let the plane slide against. Now I forgot to do something here. You should turn it over. And just take a little angle off here. Obviously, if you're shooting this to a line, you don't want to go past your line. But what that does is as the plane is going out the back end, it doesn't break out. Very quickly there, you heard it starting to make more of a long cut. We're not quite there yet. That one sounded good. Almost. One or two more cuts. Those sounded good. Now if you don't hear it cutting, that means you're not pushing it into the plane and the plane is just swiping by. You got to remember to push towards the fence and then to the plane. Okay. I don't see any light under that. I don't know what you're seeing on your side because we haven't checked this way yet. I'm guessing you saw nothing because this is lining up to be square both ways. So now what we have is a perfectly square and true end. And that is why I said the bench hook and the cutting really, I don't want to say it doesn't matter. You should strive to, work as exactly, that's hard to say, as you can, but always cut in the waist because you can always use this shooting board to trim your ends perfectly square and to the line. So if you cut a 30-second to the waist side of the line, it doesn't take long for the plane to take that 30-second off, and as it's bringing you down to the line exactly, it's squaring the end up. That's the perfect use for the shooting board. The bench hook is just to get you to a fairly square cut, or rough cuts. If you're just banging something together that you don't really care about the ends, there are times when you're just putting something, you just need to cut it. It holds the board well to cut. Just to show you, you don't have to do this with just a block plane. Even though this is a small shooting board, you want to get the chips. Any chips in here could skew the board slightly, and if the board's skewed slightly, the plane's going to cut it a little bit on an angle. This is a number 3, and it works on this shooting board. I don't think I'd want to use anything bigger. On my big shooting board that I showed you earlier, I use a low angle jack plane from Veritas. Again, thanks for watching. Have a good day.